Why didn't the police, within a day, go get the surveillance camera footage? Well, maybe they couldn't, because the place was burned down. But they go into the report how they got it off a digital cloud backup footage of Ferguson citizen Michael Brown reportedly choking and robbing someone in the store owner. And see how they use this destabilization as the pretext now. I mean, we always had stuff like this happening before in America. Why do we need armored vehicles now? We've got Al Sharpton, the reanimated corpse. They're stirring it all up. Let's go back to Joe Biggs, reporting for Infowars.com. Then we're going to come back in the next segment, talk briefly to Josh Owens. What else is coming up, Joe? What else is unfolding out there? I'm told the paramilitary police are gone. Now it's state police in blue uniforms talking to the public. The police chief came out, talked to folks last night. We were able to interview him. What do you expect to happen tonight? Are things starting to de-escalate?
Yeah, everything's calming down quite a bit, Alex. Right now, like you said, the police that have been here, that were here last night, were way more professional. They weren't treating people like animals. And when they gave them the right to exercise their rights as an American, and everything was peaceful and fine. The Highway Patrol was very, very professional. They did an outstanding job. But I have Andrew here with me. He actually got to hear the chief of the Ferguson Police this morning speak. What did he have to say?
Well, the fact that the Ferguson Police Chief came down here this morning and didn't release any information on the incident report of the murder of Michael Brown, which is the main story here, and began the whole process of starting to blame the guy who can't stand up for himself because he's dead. So for him to come down here, it was unbelievably unprofessional and provocative. For him to come down here and only give information which suggests we're not really going to talk about the murder right now. We're going to talk about the fact that Mike was a regular person, maybe not a perfect person, but he's dead. He has families. He deserves justice. And the story continues to be and needs to be the death of Michael Brown and not about wrecking him. Not about wrecking him personally. He is dead and he can't speak for himself. And if the witnesses are borne out of what happened a couple streets away, then it is not okay that the police chief of Ferguson comes down here and acts like the story is that Michael Brown might have gotten himself into some trouble. He did not deserve to be shot down like a dog. Sorry, but it's upsetting.
Well, what do you think about the events that have unfolded at nighttime around here with the police department the other night? Were you here when they started shooting tear gas and rubber bullets into the crowd?
I was not here. I'm from North County and happy to be from North County, but I'm from Hazelwood. It was an unbelievable overreaction. The militarization of the zone was ridiculous. It was overkill. And if you point guns at people, bad things are going to happen. It's going to provoke them and upset them for obvious reasons. The feds leaned in and they said, pull out the presents and people will act like people. And that's what happened.
Oh, the feds saved us.
All the more unbelievable.
This guy's an MSNBC listener.
On the police chief and say, don't say this kind of stuff after we finally calmed the community.
Oh, hold on one second. I want to ask him a question. Ask him if he's aware of where the training came from that got the police to act like this to begin with, and ask him if he knows about the police report and video showing purportedly Brown robbing the store. I mean, isn't that pertinent?
Are you aware of where the police got their training from?
No, that's an unusual question for me. No, I'm not. I'm not.
And what was the other question, Alex?
Well, I mean, my point is they've been federalized, so the feds can play the part of the savior. Ask him if he's aware that they've released a police report and video stills purportedly showing Michael Brown robbing and choking and attacking the shopkeeper.
Are you aware that they've released some footage and stills saying that Michael Brown actually was involved in a robbery?
I'm very much aware of that. That, however, after several nights of violence, should not be the main story. And the fact that he came down here to launch that, along with nothing literally nothing about the murder suggests that they're beginning to circle the wagons and suggest that it's about who Mike was. It's not about who Mike was. We all have kids. We all have kids that aren't always perfect. But you know what? You don't get to gun them down. And there's no indication at this point that the police officer was chasing him down like a robber. If he was chasing him down like a robber, then why didn't he take in his compadre, his friend who was with him at the scene?
Well, I agree with that if that's true.
Hi, I'm Shane Steiner. A lot of you have been following my progress using Super Male Vitality. The last 19 weeks has been an incredible experience. I was feeling a little down and lethargic during the holidays, and none of the supplements that I was taking were doing any good. That's when my longtime friend from high school, Alex Jones, introduced me to Super Male Vitality. I was a little skeptical at first. Not only would I have the energy to work out and go to the gym, but it was actually the changes were happening to my body a lot more rapidly. My whole mood, my libido, everything had completely changed. The concentrated organic herbs, they stimulate your natural systems to produce the natural hormones that you need. I just really wanted to bulk up and hit it hard, and I went in for about the first 5 weeks and was lifting heavy weight and just really hitting it hard, and I gained 20 pounds of muscle immediately. Since that, I've decided I was going to lose some weight and slim down. I just changed up my workout a little bit, and 35 pounds came off. Folks, this is not a joke. This is not a gimmick, it's real. Super Male Vitality, available at InfoWarsLife.com.
I've been monitoring MSNBC and CNN during the breaks, and it's just, we need the feds to federalize everything. They are the saviors. They will save us. Obama will save us. I mean, I've got CNN and MSNBC on, and at the same time, they've got talking to the crowd saying the same thing with pre-screened folks that they're interviewing. We're just walking up to folks saying, if you promise not to cuss, we'll put you on air and hear what you have to say. Then I tune into Fox, and it's Al Sharpton and the cop haters who love thugs that want to burn everything down, don't like the NRAPs that keep us safe. The feds gave them the training, and we just put an article up on screen where it shows they were given this federal training. They were given the armored vehicles. They were taught how to aim guns at people. This is what the feds do. And then I just love how they gave them the costumes, the armored vehicles, everything. And then they get to sit there and criticize it. And they got Predator drones flying around. So the police are playing right into it as usual. Newsweek, how America's police became an army. The 1033 program. Well, that's just one small part of it. I don't mean to toot my horn, but I am the expert on the militarization of police because I've been obsessed with it since day one. When I found out the police were training with the military for gun confiscation all over the country. Look at Katrina. All right, let's go back to the crew there. I want to get Josh Owens, the cameraman's take on what's happened. I want to talk to a few more people, but Joe Biggs is there finishing up with that gentleman. Anything else, Joe, or does that guy have more to say, or is he gone?
Is there anything else you'd like to say, sir, about what's been happening out here?
Well, in the previous nights, I think it was quite obvious that the response was disproportionate and unbelievably provocative. It was, I think you can put any group of people on a street, and if you bring military stuff and you point it at them, and there's plenty of reports of that, you're going to have a problem because people are upset and it's not a fair fight. And you know what? It wasn't really a fight in the first place. What it was is people in a small community really angry that it appears that one of their 18-year-olds about to start technical school on Monday, maybe not a perfect guy, they're going to reveal as much as they can about him, but that they decided that they were going to make that the story instead of investigating and revealing the name of the police officer, which they finally done, and an incident report, which would perhaps try to explain how he was shot repeatedly, perhaps even after he turned around and put his hands up. That's why the symbol is hands up, because nobody can believe that a professional police officer would continue shooting, since that means I give up.
Well, there you have it, Alex. Words from Ferguson, Missouri.
Ask him if he thinks the feds are so good, I mean, is he aware they've given the police the training nationwide and the MRAPs and the rest of it? Explain that to him.
Like, are you aware that the federal government actually gave the Ferguson Police Department those militarized vehicles, those sniper rifles, those M4s, and the equipment, the body armor, to come do this?
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's part of the surplus military program that made these things available. The problem is these are very, very serious weapons. They tend to be provocative just by the way they look when they roll down a community street. And so there needs to be appropriate training to use these vehicles. And even when the feds decide...
So you think it's okay to have that kind of weaponry and vehicles moving up and down through towns in America?
I don't.
Even with proper training?
I do not think that there's much of a place for it at all. I think it happened because there were surplus vehicles available. I don't think the training has probably been proper for the use of them, as judging by the way it went down on Wednesday night. When they backed off and treated people like human beings, everything went much better.
But just to make the point, tell him Alex Jones, the host, wants to tell you, because everybody thinks this is just by accident Army surplus. It's Rand Corporation. It's public the last 30 years, accelerating the last 20. It is a plan to militarize the police, to have a new market for defense contractors domestically. This is not just them getting surplus gear. The military bravada, the Inde Posse Comitatus, all of this is being directed as part of a totalitarian takeover.
And Alex Jones wants to know, do you know that this is a plan by our government to militarize our police nationwide?
Well, I wouldn't go so far as saying that's anything coordinated. I think actually there's a fair amount of incompetence.
So you just think it's just random?
I think the inability to handle weaponry like this is
because the feds couldn't be bad.
Hands, and then clearly they're still afraid to even say who was calling the shots on the bad nights that we had here in St. Louis. They need to say who was calling the shots, because the moment the Highway Patrol took over, reasonable heads prevailed, and they said, okay, we need to back away the military equipment. So do I think that the government's involved in a conspiracy? No, not particularly.
Oh, really?
But this was incompetent at the very least.
Do you like to get groped by the TSA when you go to the airport?
I don't know. Perhaps there are necessary evils in the world, but I don't know. What happened here was avoidable.
Ask him if he thinks the state should be bigger.
If they hadn't decided they were going to trickle out a tiny bit of information, and that information was primarily going to be about how, well, the guy wasn't really such a great guy.
Ask him what his favorite TV network is. TV News.
What's your favorite TV news network you watch?
I just watch the news. Don't give that much thought. Really.
Tell him if he likes Mr. Maddow.
Like MSNBC, CBS, CNN, Fox, any of those? Which ones do you like?
CNN's not what it used to be. Probably NBC, I guess.
Do you like Rachel Maddow?
Yeah, she's fine. Yeah, I don't know what that would have to do with anything, really. I don't necessarily have a lot of opinions on people on the news. I know that the last day of news was what brought me down here.
Ask him if she could be the most handsome man in GQ.
Down. Let's not start pointing fingers at people.
He wants to know if you think that Rachel Maddow could be the most handsome man in GQ.
No comment. No comment. Seems like a nice lady.
All right.
I actually saw her here yesterday. I mean, Chris Hayes. My bad. Yeah. I confuse them all the time.
Yeah.
Well, she's actually a great actress. She plays both. That's the big conspiracy. All right, Joe. Hey, let me talk to Josh in just a minute, okay?
Okay, we'll do.
Thanks. Let me give folks the toll-free number to join us on this issue, or the Ukrainians blowing up a Russian convoy might be of some concern, and hundreds of U.S. armored vehicles and tanks being deployed against the Russians. That's mainstream news. Just, the 1st Brigade, 1st Cavalry Division will deploy to the Baltic states to the Russian border. I think that's kind of important. Toll-free number to join us, 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. Here's some of the headlines up on PrisonPlanet.com and Infowars.com. Ferguson cops say Michael Brown robbed store before he was killed. It looks pretty incriminating. Former cop arrested over anti-TSA protest on public property. Yeah, can't have a First Amendment. That's what's wrong with the police, is they'd follow an order to do that. Secret Service investigates photo of ISIS flag outside White House. SWAT team claims they were helping. That's a quote. That's really actually hilarious. In tear gassing of journalists and attack on Al Jazeera. We were there, folks. This is redonkulous. I mean, I just, that is really rich. St. Louis County Police Chief grilled on his officers' out-of-control actions. That's a Sha'Carri Jackson interview I want to play part of. There's a lot of those articles. Stirring the pot, DOJ sends marshals to coach the protest in Ferguson. That's just some of the news up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. You can follow us on Twitter at RealAlexJones. Again, I'm going to shoot some special reports, so we have videos for this Sunday's radio/TV show. It's going to be live, too, but we're going to have some special reports. I'm going to really I'm going to put on a feast of information Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. on chemtrails, you name it. So be sure and join us for that. Again, the toll-free number to get involved on air is 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. We will get you up and on the air here today. And while those calls are coming in, let's go to Josh Owens, the cameraman, to get his take on what he's witnessed overall. I mean, I love how all these Democrats and MSNBC viewers, I could tell that guy was a Rachel Maddow viewer when he was talking, and he means well. That's a mainline liberal, has no idea how he's being gamed. Oh, the feds aren't shipping drugs in. The feds aren't, buying armored vehicles. The feds aren't preparing for martial law. We have all the documents. The feds, didn't do secret testing on black people. They're so naive. In fact, we should have asked them. I bet that guy was a state or federal worker. They literally are like one-year-old babies that think of the state as mommy's milky. I mean, I'm sorry, that's what this comes down to. And they just think that it's a big, giant mammary gland, giant udders in the sky hanging down like Romulus and Remus, suckling from it. Makes me want to throw up to see the gaming of these people. And then meanwhile, you got Fox News doing the right-wing gaming, up there saying if you don't want armored vehicles and choppers in your neighborhood and NSA checkpoints and cameras, you're with Al Sharpton. I mean, it is just ridiculous. Josh Owens.
Josh Owens, Ferguson, Missouri. Sometimes when I'm standing behind the camera and I hear guys like that talk and some other people we've talked to out here, all I see in my head is a marionette show. And there are the manipulators pulling the strings up above. And I guess the manipulators change with the media, the feds. Every person, I guess, is different. But sometimes, I honestly think that guy believes there's a surplus room, where the military is just having a friendly yard sale, giving all of their equipment to the police, putting it out on the street so that they can stand right over here, be in their MRAPs, and point guns at people. It's just... I don't want to say it's funny because it's not funny, but sometimes you can't do anything but laugh.
They give them federal grants. That's the standard uniform they were wearing. They're being federalized. It's called the RAND Corporation, National Stability Force, to convert us to martial law. But see, I'm not a pseudo-intellectual speaking with a simpering voice. I just read the last 9 or 10 versions of that updated, the Plan for America. I'm a weirdo, Josh. I know under U.S. Code Title 50, they authorize lethal secret testing on the American people.
Well, right. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of the times these people can be shown the documents and they still don't see it. And I mean, the proof is in the pudding. We were out here. We saw what happened. I mean, last night there were, I read reports there were hundreds. No, there weren't hundreds, and there weren't even a couple thousand. There were 4,000 or 5,000 people here, possibly even more. I mean, when we were marching down the street, you couldn't see the end. I was at the front, and I couldn't see the end. I mean, it went on for miles, it looked like. And there were no MRAPs out here. There were no guns being pointed at people, and the world isn't over. So you see, when reporters are out here, they're trying to show what's going on, and they say, turn your cameras off because they don't want the proof of what they're about to do. They chase people into neighborhoods. They shoot flashbangs at cars. They shoot people with rubber bullets. They send tear gas out so people are throwing up everywhere. And this guy is just worried about a surplus room and a friendly little garage sale.
Well, sure. I mean, look at Waco under Clinton with Bradley fighting vehicles and the rest of it, burning it to the ground, and Lon Horiuchi and the rest of them out there shooting men, women, and children. I mean, they literally think, oh, the feds would handle it different. This is federal militarized law enforcement in our face. And again, I said this back on Monday. And Sunday. We're going to have to hear about the feds being our savior now as demonstrations start up all over the country. And if local police don't back down and allow this to escalate, cities will burn, and then Obama and the globalists get what they want. It's that simple.
Well, like we've seen from Fox News, all it takes is for them to come out with a story saying that Al Jazeera was being helped by the police. They were shooting at them. In the video that you see that Jakari got, Al Jazeera was screaming, saying, "Stop shooting at us." But that was loving. I mean, they were helping them.
I mean, how do they think they can just lie? They're like, turn your cameras off or we will attack. Turn your cameras off. Boom, 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 boom. And they run up and throw all their equipment down and like, actually, Al Jazeera asked for help and we were helping them.
I guess because there are a lot of people that will be out here and they'll literally get shot, and then they'll go see on the news that no one was shot, and they'll just immediately believe it.
Well, that's probably the answer, is just for the cops to kill everybody and then just say that they were helping everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, if people believe that, then, I mean, there's no end.
Well, what about 2 + 2 = 5? I mean, Obama said so. I mean,
if Obama says so, then it's the truth.
I mean, you're not racist, are you?
I don't know. I might be.
Well, do folks see how they have different management teams, right-wing management teams, managing that fake narrative that's dumbed down and simple, and then left-wing management teams? And if you're watching us on TV, there are the reporters thanking the police as they roll around on the ground being hit with tear gas and rubber bullets. So again, they're thanking them, Josh. Well, and by the way, you're being anti-police, Josh, claiming that Al Jazeera didn't thank them. Okay.
Well, I mean, they're rolling on the ground like a dog rolls on the ground when it wants its tummy to be rubbed. They're just so happy that they're being shot at, I mean, you see the Al Jazeera reporter, he can't even talk to Jakari because he's blind, just like what happened to me, just like what happened to me.
Well, were you happy when you were in the Vice car, the reporter's car, and they were flashbanging you? I mean, obviously, you need to thank them.
I felt extremely safe, and I'm just glad that they were keeping me from leaving the area by shooting flashbangs at the car while I was suffocating in the car, because all we could see in the headlights was red. All of these, I'm sure everybody in the neighborhood, too, I'm sure they were really happy when they walk out the next morning to go to work, to go to school, and their eyes are burning from the tear gas still in the air.
Yeah, that's what Biggs was telling me, is that the next day you guys were almost vomiting out there. There's so much of it.
Yeah. But that's good.
Well, they were assisting you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what's happened? I saw a Frontline special on this a few years ago that was so accurate from my research. MTV dumbs things down on purpose. Then they say, oh, the public wants dumbed down television. No, they're dumbing it down on purpose. And then that does dumb down the population. We all treat each other as if we're all stupid. And then the cops treat us like we're stupid, and they get treated like they're stupid. And the departments want to hire folks with under 100 IQs now to literally just dumb everything down where everything's a load of bull. Josh, we're going to come back with phone calls. We'll check in with you towards the end of the next hour when Max Kaiser's in studio. Great job there. We'll continue to track everything happening in Ferguson as the demonstrations start in other areas of the country. We'll be right back with your phone calls and more. Please become PrisonPlanet.tv members. 11 people can use each membership, and you're funding the very tip of the spear in the InfoWar. And don't forget, 10% off everything at InfoWarsStore.com or InfoWarsLife.com, the supplements, the Patriot attire to meet like-minded people and spread the word. Steve in New Mexico, thanks for calling. Thanks for holding. You're on the air. What did you call in about today?
Yeah, hey, first of all, we love you, Alex. Thanks for all you do, brother. And I just needed to bring to your attention, there's an article out by KRQ East News 13 over here in New Mexico and over here in Albuquerque, and it just touches on they're bringing in these new mobile cameras for APD to use against us, and I mean, all the other issues that's going on in the world. I mean, this ain't too much, but I mean, they're causing havoc over here, just over here. So
oh, yeah. If you look at Albuquerque, we've done a lot of reports on that. It's one of the most dangerous police departments out there, shooting homeless people for no reason, and then celebrating, and then letting a dog attack the body and shooting him more to make sure he's dead. I mean, and it just keeps happening. They are so whacked out. And it's just, there's no accountability. But it's the same thing with the foreign banks, looting the Treasury. It's a nightmare. Yeah, they're putting mobile cameras up everywhere, but don't want their officers to have cameras on. No, they only want them for the public. New Mexico is a giant narcotics trafficking command base. Ironhead in Washington, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey there, Alex. I don't know how I keep on getting through the picket fence, but I guess I'm destined. Providence gets me to the...
Well, you're here. You're on the air. Go ahead, sir. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, right. Okay. Problem, reaction, solution. I think it's time that all the info warriors throughout the planet start going, identify the problem, and then state a solution. And maybe you could have a solution set day where you just ask people to call in, give a solution. My solution to what's going on up and down both sides of the border on this country is what would happen if one day, starting next month, we had an open carry day. I guarantee you there would be no problem on either side of the fence. They may use it as a provocatory event, but just think about the impact that would have.
Well, open carry is great because it teaches people that guns are not illegal yet. They want to have the perception with all the TV shows set in New York where you're going to jail, boy, I found you with a gun, to create the perception that all our guns are illegal. So it is a key thing. Great point. What's another solution?
That is the solution set that I was wanted to illustrate.
We should have more solution shows. God bless you. Look, waking up, getting upset, getting involved, promoting a Bill of Rights culture, promoting telling the truth, being honorable again, that's the answer. Tiffany in Texas, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, it's Tiffany. I'm a PrisonPlanet.tv, and this is my second time calling in. I was really just calling about everything going on in Ferguson, how outrageous it is. I see they weren't too quick to paint us out as terrorists down there when they try to militarize the situation. Also, I wanted to call and talk about Gaza and Israel, kind of about what's happening there. I just think it's really crazy that they got the Christian genocide and then they're painting people as religious terrorists now in this state. And I think that's going to be a big thing that's going to be a threat to us as American public. So we'll see how that unfolds.
Well, I agree with you. And again, it's about getting outside the box and seeing how they're playing everybody off against each other. It's not choosing a side. It's figuring out what's really going on. And I just can't believe we can't get these MSNBC viewers to understand the feds are the ones that set this all up. And they're not the saviors. Anything else, ma'am?
Yeah, I saw that he was definitely, kind of, struck when you kind of talked to him about Rachel Maddow and everything like that. And he kind of had no negative comments, which I think is kind of hard not to say.
God bless you, ma'am. I appreciate your call. Let's talk to Kimmy in Tennessee. Thanks for holding, Kimmy.
Hi, Alex. It's Kimmy. It's great to finally talk to you. I think I wanted to talk about Obama's Kill Your Mama Care today and the back to indoctrination for our kids as well. Just 2 days ago, I had my 7th stroke.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Well, after the first one, I was on Medicaid, and when Obamacare kicked in, they railroaded me and made me get off of a Medicaid and go through our federal exchange and ended up with Obamacare. And granted, they subsidize it, and I don't have to pay a big monthly payment, but my deductible is so huge. And
yeah, so your health care, let's be clear, went from free to costing money.
Yes.
Well, that's reducing your bill because Obama said so, and he never lies. I mean,
exactly. Well, also, I used to go to the best stroke hospital in the state, and now I get railroaded to the hospital that has a very large police presence with dogs.
Does your family have a big history of stroke, or do you know why you're having all these strokes?
I don't know. I'm adopted. I think it was GMOs to begin with, and aspartame and fluoride. I quit all that. and on a regular, I feel much, much better than I have in years. They had me on 10 different pharmaceuticals for the longest time. And my first stroke, I had time to read about GMOs. And then I was like, wait a minute. And then, of course, it keeps on peeling away the onion skins, and you find out more and more and more.
Oh, yeah, the GMOs literally eat the brains of the lab animals that eat them and just do incredible things. But, yeah, look, a lot of people said just create Medicare and Medicaid for everybody, have it through the federal system that doesn't have it, game over. People already get health care before free. It's just the public didn't know that. They would lie and say, what do you think the illegals can come here and get everything free? And so they actually got rid of that for everybody through Obamacare. And you had all these people going, I want my free health care, when it was already there. And so, again, it's worse than socialism because now it's social engineering health care. God bless you, Kimmy. I'll pray for you. Strokes are really a scary thing. I've always had like 2015 vision. Then it was 2020. Now I'm 40, and I used to could look right at the head of a pin up close. And now it's just blurred. It's blurred about right here. So I'm getting old. And I mean, I'm just not looking forward to it. But in the future, no matter how much money you got, unless you're a globalist, you're not going to get health care. You're going to get a death panel. And, well, if you're against it, you're racist. I mean, Rachel Maddow said so, and she's liberal. Alex Jones here to break down some exciting developments in the area of research concerning supplemental iodine. It's nothing less than phenomenal. I began to get into iodine a few years ago because it was helping me and my family so much get healthy and detoxify. And I used some of the mainline iodine supplements, and they upset my stomach, and I had some issues with it. Until I discovered a product being developed by Dr. Group, who I was already interviewing as an expert on my radio show, and I began taking the product before he actually rolled it out. You now know it as Survival Shield True Nascent Iodine that your body can really absorb. Then, about a year ago, he said, listen, if you think this is powerful, I'm going to come out with rare earth, deep earth crystals that are incredibly powerful that no one else has as a source for their iodine from between 7,000 and 12,000 feet, literally drilled out of the ground. You put it on a hot plate and it turns into the pure gas. No one else has 99.99% pure iodine. And the results that I personally have had have been life-changing. I was over 270 pounds. And with the iodine, exercise, and better diet, I have lost now more than 50 pounds total, and I'm continuing to lose the weight. I have more energy, my libido, all this crap came out of my skin. I believe our research is conclusive. This is the best iodine out there. And I know this for a fact. Nobody else has got iodine based on these pure crystals, ladies and gentlemen. This is innovating. This is trailblazing. And the best part is it helps fund Infowars.com, the radio show, the TV show, the whole media operation promoting true libertarian ideas. For a limited time, experience the ancient power of Survival Shield X2. Take advantage of this unprecedented 30% off Super Detox special at InfoWarsLife.com.